Welcome to Raise the Standard, a podcast about leadership, systems, and why excellence is never accidental. Many decisions look good in the short term. They solve immediate problems. They reduce pressure. They create quick relief. But leadership is not about what works today. In this episode, we explore a defining idea: why long-term thinking is not a personality trait, but a leadership skill.
Short-term thinking is tempting. It reduces discomfort. It simplifies decisions. It produces immediate results. And in many organizations, it is quietly rewarded. Leaders are praised for quick wins, for fast fixes, for resolving visible problems. But leadership is not defined by speed. It is defined by consequence. Long-term thinking is the ability to consider outcomes that are delayed, invisible, or inconvenient in the present. This skill is difficult because the cost of short-term decisions rarely appears immediately. It accumulates quietly. A shortcut saves time today, but it weakens a process tomorrow. A rushed approval keeps things moving now, but it increases risk later. A tolerated exception avoids conflict in the moment, but it redefines the standard. Now consider a simple example. Imagine a company that delays equipment maintenance to save costs. The machines still run. Production continues. Nothing breaks immediately. In the short term, the decision looks sensible. Money is saved. Targets are met. But over time, small failures increase. Downtime becomes unpredictable. Repairs become expensive. Trust in the system erodes. The original decision was not wrong because it was reckless. It was wrong because its consequences were delayed. This is why long-term thinking is difficult. It requires acting on outcomes that cannot yet be seen. Short-term thinking optimizes for relief. Long-term thinking optimizes for stability. Most organizations drift toward the short term because pressure is immediate. Customers are waiting. Targets are looming. Problems demand attention. Long-term thinking feels slow by comparison. It requires patience. It requires resisting urgency. It requires saying no to solutions that only work briefly. But strong organizations are built on this discipline. They invest in systems before failure forces them to. They correct small issues before they escalate. They protect standards even when it is inconvenient. Long-term thinking also protects people because it reduces firefighting. It reduces stress. It reduces constant escalation. When leaders fail to think long-term, they unintentionally transfer cost to others, to employees, to customers, to future leaders. Leadership is not about removing all problems. It is about deciding which problems to face now, so that larger ones do not appear later. This is why long-term thinking cannot be delegated. It cannot be outsourced. It must sit at the leadership level, because systems reflect priorities, and priorities reflect time horizons. When leaders think short-term, systems become fragile. When leaders think long-term, systems become resilient. That is why long-term thinking is not idealism. It is competence. And why leadership is ultimately measured, not by immediate results, but by what continues to work long after decisions are made.
These ideas are explored in more depth in the book Raise the Standard, because Good Enough Never Built Anything Great, available on Amazon. In the next episode, we'll step back and examine how all of these ideas connect: standards, systems, consistency, culture, and time, and why they must be designed together, not in isolation. Until then, raise the standard.